this is Osteo Knits. This is a knitting focused YouTube channel. There's also some spindling here and there. I am a university professor in Northern Ontario where I teach forensic science and human osteology, hence the osteo part and my friends. This is episode 3. This is my second attempt to record episode 3. Attempt 1, I was very rambly and fidgety. So hopefully I've had a couple of days to calm down. Hoping this goes better. If not, I'm gonna have to pick the best between the two. Anyways, if you've watched any of my previous episodes, the way I've been approaching my knitting this year has been to select 3, sometimes an optional 4 projects to focus on for the month. And then new month, I can switch entirely or continue on with those projects, but not adding more than those. For the month of March, my 3 focus projects were the Literary Shawl by Sundaughter Knits, the Osteo hat by Sierra Morningstar, the book shawl, which is a scrappy project, and the Venlo top, which I'm knitting as a sample for the frosted stitch. The pattern is by Salt and Stone Knits. So, big bonus, this month, this episode, I can actually show some of these things because none of the colors are super secret hidden anymore. So let's start with the things that I have finished. One is my Osteo hat. So this was knit using leftovers that I had from a shawl. The yarn is from Altered Skeins. She's no longer dyeing yarn, but the 2 colors, the purple was Iris and this was Forest Fairies, so they are complementary to each other. You can see the variegated has like a light green, that purple, some gray, some blue. So a nice little spring tone. The Osteo hat pattern is a pretty simple hat pattern. It's supposed to be more of a slouchy hat. I ended it about 1 inch shorter than the pattern called for, just because I felt it fit my head better this way. It's got sort of a slip stitch pattern, which is really nice on a variegated yarn. It lets all this color shine through without making it look too busy. This has been in my rotation. It is snowing as we speak, so I'm still getting quite a bit of use out of this. So I did finish that in time for Osteo. I, at the last minute, decided I needed a little bit of Osteo decor, so I made a little nest. And I've had this on my desk with some little Easter eggs. So the pattern is called the Sparrow's Nest. It is by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern. I held loops and threads impeccable with some drops alpaca double to give it that little halo and fuzzy texture. So this was a quick little knit. I did it in an evening. A pretty quick and easy project. Other finished object, yes, one more, finally, is my Literary Shawl. So this was a test. Ooh, it's gonna be hard to show this whole thing. So one end here, all the stripes, and the other end. This was a test knit for Sundaughter Knits. I have knit this using the frosted stitch in her new Grunge collection. The main color is Courtney. And then I have all of the other tonal colors. So these are Kurt, Grime, Wicked Garden, Docks, Cedar, and Angst. All wrapped up together here. As you can see, it makes a big, long shawl that can easily be worn as a scarf. It's very versatile, very fun to knit because, especially with stripes, stripes are so fun to knit because you just want to get to the next stripe. And then we have these added little extra mini stripes on the edge. Very, very fun. I used minis for each of the stripes, a main color for, or a full skein for the main color. And the pattern does call for an extra mini skein in that main color. I didn't need it. I very nearly ran out with the main color, so if you do tend to use more than a pattern calls for, it might be worth to have it for extra insurance. Or embrace it and add more color to it. So, Krista had temporarily stolen this. I think it's going to be adopted as a sample with the Grunge collection as she's out at shows and festivals this summer. It's going to get a lot of use. So yes, finally I can share the Grunge collection. You've seen all the tonals here. I don't have anything in her variegates, but the variegates are excellent. Like, they're the part of the collection that I'm really struggling with because I want them all. Okay, so other things that I've been working on, and maybe I'll talk about the focus ones first. The Venlo top, again by Salt and Stone Knits. So this is a sample using the Grunge collection. More colors that I've already shown, so they are in my my literary shawl. But I'm using Cedar as the main color, so it's like a really, really deep purple. And Courtney as the contrast. Courtney's a really neat color. It's like, technically it's a pink, but it's not really that pink. It's like a dirty, purpley, beigey pink. Really great neutral. Okay, so this is gonna look like a freaking mess. But the Venlo tank is made in 4 panels. There's a front panel, a back panel, and then 2 side panels knit in tuck stitch. So I have, clearly they've not been seamed yet. This is the front panel. So you can see the twisted rib. Also on the edging of the armhole. Front panel. Back panel, more twisted rib. I really love how the back looks here. I have finished one whole side panel. So here is that tuck stitch. You've got ends everywhere. So this is going to go in on one side in between the front and the back panels. And I have started, I'm throwing yarn everywhere. I have started the second side panel. So getting really close to finishing it. Need to rescue all my yarn. Yeah, So that's nearly done. I'm really excited to see how this will all come together. I love how the twisted stitch is incorporated on the edges of the front and the back. Really, really nice design. Has been pretty fun to knit. My bookshelf. So again, this is documenting the books that I read in 2023. It's color-coded, and each row is based on how long each book was. And I used scraps for it, and as I ran out of scraps of one color, I replaced it with another. So it's turned into a pretty chaotic, wild thing. So the shawl itself is done. All that's left now is I've decided to do an applied I-cord border. So there's what I've done so far on the I-cord. This way I don't have to sew in any of my ends. I can just tuck them into the tube of the I-cord and call it a day. So I still have quite a bit of that I-cord to do, but not bad. We're almost done. So I did finish quite a few of the projects that I had on the go in March, and I couldn't resist signing up for a test knit for things Beth makes. I finished one sock, and then the second sock, I'm about 3/4 of the way through the leg. So here's our second sock so far. So I am knitting this again. The contrast I'm using is Courtney from the Grunge collection. And the main color is, again, the frosted stitch, but this is nickel bonus. Now this isn't totally done. There's more to add to it. There will be some duplicate stitch, but clearly I have more to do. Getting quite close to finishing it. So those are all the things that I worked on during the month of March. For April, my focus projects will be much of what I've just shown. So I will continue to work on my book shawl. I will continue to work on this sock test. I will also continue to work on the Venlo, but that one's nearly done. The one category I have open to me is a new cast on for April, and my plan for that is the Beltane sock pattern by Louise Tilbrook, and I'm going to be using this yarn. This is Professor Sprout by Bumblebee Acres. I've never actually bought from Bumblebee Acres. I got this from a D-stash, but it just seemed a perfect little fun spring color. The Beltane sock pattern has some twisted rib and cables. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I am always up for some cables. So I look forward to winding this up, casting that on. I don't think I'm going to wait until I'm done my test sock and just get going into it. So yes, should be relatively easy to finish my sock test. The Venlo, I want to finish this by Beltane. I hope I can. We'll see what happens. So kind of nice to have some things coming to an end, finishing them up. Really fun that I can actually talk about the Grunge collection now. Clearly I've worked with the tonals so much, and like I said, I absolutely love the variegates. So I've really struggled with deciding what I'm going to order from the collection. What I try to do, because Krista has so much beautiful yarn, I try to approach each collection with a specific pattern that I want to make out of them. So for Grunge, I've decided I want to make the caramelly sweater, which is like this striped dropped shoulder sweater with really interesting construction. It uses 4 colors, one main color and then the others that will stripe. So I've decided the main color will be Docks. So this one here, and we got cat hair. So it's like a really, really dark blue, like a verging on black. That will be the main color. I'm also going to have Seether. So this one here, that dark purple. And I'll be using 2 of the variegates. Junkhead, which has like black, that reddish color, blue and purple. And Lithium, which is like a gray base with some black and sort of reddish speckles. Not quite speckles, but anyways. Excited about that. Also, Krista has a collar called Bullet with butterfly wings, and it's inspired by the cover of the Smashing Pumpkins album, which I listened to that album so much that I have to get that. I think I'm going to get 1 skein of that in worsted weight and knit a hat out of it. Probably the Graham hat, which has kind of like a waffly texture and is more of a slouchy hat. Yeah. So those are my plans for the Grunge collection. Not that I need more yarn, because I certainly brought home quite a bit in the past month. A lot of these were planned, one was not. Oh, I forgot to share another FO, technically. I have another yarn baby. So this is what I was spindling last month. So this was the Merino Silk Blend. I ended up applying it on itself. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm getting a lot more consistent. It is around a light worsted weight, and I ended up with about 140 yards of it. Yeah, really enjoying the spindling still. Because I had no other fiber anymore, I was playing with this plain white merino that had come with my drop spindle, eagerly awaiting purchase of more fiber, which I have now. But now the big question is going to be, do I do it on the drop spindle or do I wait until I get my spinning wheel? Which I don't have yet. I haven't ordered. The deal I've made with myself is that I can order a spinning wheel once I submit my final grades. So term ends next week. I have a test, so I have 2 classes that I'm teaching this term. My second years have a test tomorrow. They also have an exam on the 18th. And my 4th year osteology class, all they have left is a final report that they are submitting on Monday. So within a few weeks I should be able to order my wheel, which is really exciting. I'm looking forward to playing with that. I've been loving the drop spindle, but I can definitely see the appeal of a wheel. Yeah. Before I get into my purchases, I should also mention what I'm wearing. So this is the party top by Abby Knits, who I believe is now half of Woolen Pine. It's got like these little eyelets on the sleeve. Otherwise, it's kind of a very extended boat neck. The pattern was for a cropped sweater. I made mine a little bit longer just for my own preference. And the yarn I used is the frosted stitch. And this is a color that her and I dyed up together quite some time ago. The color was not even between all of the skeins, so I altered skeins quite a bit through the body to try to even things out. Some were a little more yellow than the others, and that's especially evident on the sleeves. It was a fun pattern. It was quite flexible. So I did mine not quite 3/4 length sleeve because I used up all the yarn I had. But fun little sweater, and I love that I dyed the yarn. There's green in it, which is my favorite color, and I almost never wear green. Yeah. Okay, acquisitions. I talked about fiber, so let's do the fiber. I ordered 2 braids from Fiber Imp. This one is 100% merino. It is called Thunderstruck. It's mostly this light blue with some darker blue, some purple in there. Very, very pretty. And the other braid I got, this one's called Galaxy. It is a merino flax Mugga silk, and I think it was Tussa silk blend. Mostly in these purples with other bright colors in there. And I'm thinking I might do a combo spin with these two. So then I'll have a combination of that silky texture with the merino, and I think the colors would go together really well. But now the question is, will that be on a wheel or the spindle? Basically, we'll see how impatient I am and how much spindling I get done. Other purchases. I finally went back to Buttons, that craft store in Sturgeon Falls, and bought the correct needle size that I initially went there for. And they still had some Zen Yard Garden yarn on a reduced price, so I picked some up. Got these 2 skeins. It's a fingering weight with stellina, which you can clearly see. The color here is Black Pearl, kind of a golden color. It's a good neutral. I have no immediate plans for it, but I had to snap it up. I also received my Spooky Yarn Club from Floof Fiber. This month's theme was the Cure. I ordered it on the DK weight again, and we have some silk fiber all over it, but these fun black, red, and white colors, which always have a place in my wardrobe, clearly. There are 2 more months left to this club. I am going to try to skip the next one, but I really want to order the last one, which is Familiars. The current month is Vampire, I think. Yeah. I can't think about it too much because then I'm going to want to order it. Okay. 2 more balls of yarn. Both are the frosted stitch. The Mr. Stitch Botanical Garden monthly collection. So I have a subscription to it. I don't even have to think about it. It is debited from my account, and I get it whenever I see Krista. So the month color was Spider Flower, and that's this really pretty soft pink with streaks of a darker pink. Now, I am not a pink fan. It is not a color that I wear. But I have friends who like pink a lot. And I never buy pink by choice. So this will be really nice for a pair of socks for my friends who like pink. When I saw Krista, I was also able to pick up the April chapter in the Mr. Stitch Botanical Yarns collection, which goes quite well with the March one. So April is Lady Slipper. So we still have that nice soft pink with a deeper kind of magenta and some kind of yellowy green there. Very pretty. Yeah, these two go very nicely together. It would make a good fit. Maybe I'll make some accessories for my pink loving friend. So this is still available. If you are a pink fan, if you need this in your life, you can order it. If you absolutely love all the grunge things I've shown you, you can also order that. I don't get anything out of this beyond, you know, helping a friend out, and clearly I love the frosted stitch yarn. Krista puts so much into every one of her collections. She's been cooking up that grunge collection for over a year, and it is absolutely fantastic. So check it out. That's everything. It's quite enough in terms of yarn purchases. Like I said, the term is coming to an end. March was just a crazy month. It was absolutely wild and insane, and I'm very much glad it's over, but I don't know where the past month went. It's kind of a weird time, like when the term ends, things are kind of wrapping up, but then there's other work that's not normally in your schedule. It's awkward and weird, but I'm looking forward to kind of the transition between the term, it being my first year in a full-time position. This summer I actually get to focus on research and publications, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. Of course, I'm hoping to get a lot of spinning and knitting done over the summer months. Maybe take a few trips, maybe attend a yarn festival. Yes, that'll be really nice. In the previous episode I talked about Canada Reads, how I had read a few of the books at that point. I finished up L'Avenir by Catherine Leroux, which in English is called The Future. That book ultimately, spoiler, did win Canada Reads, and I'm happy with that outcome. I also read the 5th finalist, which was Meet Me by the Lake. I am like crazy overboard with Canada Reads, like way too invested. It has happened in past years where if my favorite book is voted out day one, like I refuse to watch the rest of the show. Like I'm that ridiculous with Canada Reads. But always fun to read all the finalists, whether I watch the show at all or not. It exposes you to books that perhaps you wouldn't pick up otherwise, and most of them really are great works, usually by Canadian authors. Now that those are done, I'm continuing on with, I previously mentioned that I was reading a book about the Donner Party. What is it called? I believe it's Under the Indifferent Stars Above. That's what it is. The Indifferent Stars Above. And I'm almost 3/4 of the way through. It's long. I don't know if this is a literary device because their journey was so long to kind of bring you with them. It is absolutely heartbreaking and tragic what these people went through. Not something that we can really imagine in this day and age. having to trek your way through the mountains and encounter all of these struggles and difficulties. I know most of what people remember out of the Donner Party is the cannibalism, but it's really tragic, and the author does kind of do these asides with discussing parallels today and even what the survivors likely went through, which wasn't recognized at the time, like likely some PTSD and quite a lot of trauma, especially there were a lot of children survivors who were left orphaned or had lost a lot of their family. Clearly a very cheerful read. And I don't help my case, the other book that I'm reading is The Red River Girl, which is about the death of Tina Fontaine, who was recovered in the Red River in Winnipeg. I lived in Winnipeg for some time, so it's a story that I heard a lot, and I think in Canada in general we talk about it a lot in the context of missing and murdered Indigenous women. I've just read the first chapter, but yeah, I don't know why I chose to read both of these books at the same time. They're both pretty dreary, like, not that I dislike those sort of topics, right? Given what I study, it's not unusual for me, but I definitely need something a little bit lighter. And I am picking up a fiction book from the library, perhaps on the way home today, and it's in French. I discovered that Radio-Canada has their own version, kind of like Canada Reads, called Le Combat des Livres, and I picked a book off of that list from last year's candidates, and I'm going to give that a try. What else is going on? It is snowing right now, which is not what I want to see right now. One of my thesis students is presenting, or my undergrad thesis student is presenting today, so I'm looking forward to seeing how her talk goes. I'm going to go and sort of cheer her on as best I can. That's wrapping up. I'm really excited about her research. Hoping to get a publication out of that this summer. Otherwise, yeah, not much else. It's supposed to be spring. I'm trying to bring the spring energy as much as I can. When I get home, I'm going to cake this up, and I think I'm going to cast this on. Yeah. How are you trying to bring spring into your life? Is this a weird transition period for you as well? What are you looking forward to in the next months? Tell me about it. I think this attempt 2 is going to make the cut. I am way less fidgety than attempt 1, so excellent. I'm still super awkward, but that is me. Alright, well, take care everybody. Have a great day, and I will see you next month.